Colin, welcome to the show. How did you come up with the inspiration to create such great magic?
I was inspired by the desire to create an opening for what came to be called Star Wars.
Right.
And to have it such a different kind of movie.
Right.
And a different kind of, once it started on the screen,
Right.
it would then be unlike anything before and would be an unfolding in its own terms.
Right.
All through the opening of the film, and that it couldn't be forgotten from that point on.
Yeah, absolutely. It will never be forgotten. What you created was pure magic. Gosh, you know, as a kid, myself and my two younger brothers, I think we had every one of those ships. We had several X-wings, the Millennium Falcon, and you know, it was just, you know, it was a adventure in itself just to discover your work and all the ships and learning about all the ships and all their abilities. Can you tell us how you met George? And obviously, the two of you together, just unbelievable magic that you've created, and absolutely every bit of Star Wars A New Hope is completely unforgettable. It's the greatest film franchise in the history of the world. So tell us about how you met George and how you guys got together.
Well, I met George because two friends of mine worked on George's previous film, and then I was developing on the side a new way of doing miniature photography for motion picture, and being able to do the special effects in a way that could be created to start with, but also be created over a period of time, and with the miniatures made from fragments of plastic model parts.
Right.
And that the rest of the shot, the other things that would go with it, would be done at different times, and yet the meaning of a scene,
Right.
the meaning of the adventure or the misadventure that was unfolding,
Right.
and the human interaction expectations was focused in a way that you couldn't forget once you had seen the opening for 20 minutes, maybe more.
Yeah.
That it was unlike anything that had gone before, and would be then a new world behind that, so that the rest of the film would be influenced all the way through by this technology that was driving it.
Right.
But it was all for a feeling of adventure, threats, different evil, different
Right.
good, and especially different adventure, and that the settings for it were all in a new kind of space movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of what you guys did had never been done before. It was very groundbreaking, and it affected cinema in a way with the special effects. I mean, how was it day to day working on those teams, you know, working together. You talked about doing the miniatures, and what's your opinion on how what you guys started has evolved to today? Because you've got Industrial Light and Matters, the forefathers of ILM. So how is it working with everybody on the project?
Well, it was also interesting because I was working in spite of the way the movies were done up to that point.
Right.
And it worked out a technology that would allow shooting in a different way, especially with miniatures and continuity. And it's strange, but I was inspired by George Lucas,
Right.
but I was also inspired by a type of film that had to not be in.
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, activity together, and you guys had to mesh together, and you're doing something that no one else had ever done. And from what I understand from the history of Star Wars, that George kind of had to do this on his own because a lot of the studios didn't want to buy onto it. Boy, they made a big mistake, I'd say. So, how does it feel to have something like Star Wars? Did you guys think that it was going to be this big when you were working on it?
Actually, I was working on it before George knew about how big it was going to be.
Yeah, wow.
And that was, I had to develop this and create how to film it in a way that would allow a whole new approach that nobody else could make as a movie to start with.
Right.
From there on, everybody could make the movie to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, did you get a chance, you know, we lost our princess, Carrie Fisher, at the end of last year. Did you get a chance to meet her?
I did not, and I was very moved by her character and the characterization that she was acting and that George was asking of her and of the writing.
Right.
And, that had to be very strong and be worthy of her place, as it turned out, so long-lasting and so emotionally involving in a way that lived side by side by an obvious fantasy adventure.
Right. I would agree with you 100% on that. So tell us, did you name the Millennium Falcon or did George?
I couldn't tell you for sure because George was working on some script.
Right.
And working at 20th Century Fox, I
Right.
believe. And I wasn't involved in that part of it.
Okay.
I was inventing the technology that allowed the miniatures to be used in a different way
Right.
and to sequence in a different way,
Awesome.
so that that part of the movie could be expressive, particularly in an adventure, an impossible adventure,
Right.
that involved grabbing you right away and
Yeah.
having you go through experience after experience that was absurd and yet very moving and involving. And Carrie later, past the opening, she was certainly in the opening,
Right.
that was her involvement in it that made some of this impossible
Right, absolutely. Well, I guarantee you, folks, it wasn't absurd to me, and I was captured from the opening crawl, and it's lasted for I don't know. I guess I hate to show my age. I'll have to keep that secret, but a long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Cantwell, the creator of all the ships from Star Wars: A New Hope. Sir, thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for coming on Super Dave Raines and the Big Show at GalaxyFest 6. Words cannot express enough thanks for what you have done for Star Wars. Thank you so much.
If I put it this way, Star Wars did something for us.
Right.
Something that was potentially possible, and with what George was doing and what the technology of Star Wars as it was on the screen, that was an embodiment of Carrie and many others contributing to a new blend of caring and fearing and boldness and inventing completely new ways of saying emotionally what she was embodying and what George's project really wanted to do, and what that did with me. I had to perform so that they could fulfill that feeling in the audience for the experience that they experienced in that film, and indeed after other films of Star Wars went on and carried on for so many years, and such a great new section of filmmaking and its style that it had itself.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Cantwell, the creator of all the ships from Star Wars: A New Hope. Thank you, sir. So for Colin Cantwell, I'm Super Dave Raines, and until next time, own the love. Thanks, sir.